Hello and welcome. I was about to say a 2VG podcast again.
It's been like a year and a month.
I know it has been like a year. I know it has.
How are you not used to it by now?
Because it's so ingrained. We shouldn't say hello and welcome. We should say something else.
You say hello and welcome.
Okay.
No one else says hello and welcome.
Really?
Just you.
No, George does.
How long did we even... Oh, you... I'm calling Gerard.
Huh? Hello.
And welcome.
This is the podcast. Is that better?
This is the podcast.
This is the fight.
That's even less specific.
I like it. It's like we're the only podcast in existence.
Yeah. Obviously.
I mean, technically, we're the only podcast in the world that has one black guy.
You know what? There are a lot of...
I just...
Hello and welcome to Dad and Sons.
There we go.
There you go. Are you gonna leave the there you go in? You're not gonna even cut it. You're just gonna be like, oh yeah, there you go.
There you
There
go.
you
The audience gonna be like, what the? Okay.
There you go.
Today I have my two lovely co-hosts, Liam. Hello. And what's the other guy's name again? Sorry, let me read the script.
Yeah, we have a script.
George.
Thank you.
There
Thank
it
you.
is. Oh, all right. I played games this week.
What a good script.
Hallelujah 2019, and it's like New Year's resolutions.
And I'm playing 2018 games.
Yeah.
And 2017 games. Isn't this normal?
I was thinking about it, actually, Matt. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about when we come to the Dad Awards 2019, we're going to have a brand new category called What Game Matt Played That's Game of the Year 2018 in 2019.
Listen, I'm trying here. I bought back my stolen PS4. Okay.
So maybe we'll have like more than one award in the What Game Matt Played This Year category next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot. I'm playing through all the good ones.
Because he's not going to play any games from 2019 unless it's Kingdom Hearts 3. That's the only game this year that comes out in 2019 Matt's going to play.
Right. So how did it go?
Very
What's
true.
it like being back in the world of console peasantry?
Wait. Credit where credit's due. The turnaround on this was incredible, Matt. People
What do you
don't even
mean?
realize that they will have been listening to last week's episode thinking, we should help Matt out, maybe like we can help him find some deals and stuff. You'd already bought that shit, but by the time the episode had gone out,
And then
you'd already like literally stepped out of the door the day we finished last week's episode, and you're like, boys, bought myself a PS4, got God of War, I'm in.
It's 2019. I'm trying to make a change here. Trying to spend all my savings on the podcast here.
Not a good idea right now.
so we hung up the phone last week and went throughout our day, and at the end of the day I got a message from Matt in the Dad and Son Discord that said, just got my PS4, just finished God of War.
Did you mean to write?
And then like 4 hours later another message comes in that's like, shit, my PS4 just failed.
Yep. And that's what's normal about it. I forgot, as a person who's grown up building my stuff, building my PCs, they don't fail very much. You get a console, red ring, some bullshit happens, doesn't turn on. All this stuff happens. And I just don't like it. And it's loud as hell. Oh my God.
So
It sounds like it's taking off all the time.
what did you end up getting, and how, and from where?
Well, a lot of people have been buying the old cheap PS4s. So I had to go to I was about to say GameStop. It is GameSpot.
GameSpot.
Nope, I did it again.
GameStop.
GameStop. See, now
God,
you have
I'm
to
not
think
even
about it, right?
American
GameSpot,
right now.
GameStop.
Can't
Which
stop
one?
the spot.
GameStop. Can't stop the spot stop.
Yeah, so I was actually trying to support the local game businesses, but they were all sold out. Especially they were like $50 cheaper. I was like, oh man, I want one of those, and I didn't want to risk it on Craigslist because these things are old now. These things are years old, and these people, they don't really take care of their stuff. So I wanted a place that I can go back and yell at, which is GameStop. So I went there, bought me a PS4. I was like, all right, maybe I should get God of War. God of War was like $40. I could red box it. for 3 days for $7. Why not? I'm probably gonna just like go through it anyway.
Right.
And picked up Horizon Zero Dawn. I actually asked on Twitter, and people told me like the big ones, like Persona 5 obviously is like one of number one requested ones that I got. God of War, of course, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man. I had some Gravity Rush stuff too, which I've never looked into.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, Bloodborne, but I mean, I don't know if I want to get back into Bloodborne again. I don't know, because you know it's such a garbage game, right, George?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I dropped it like halfway through. I just put me to sleep.
What I'm waiting for is the God of War chat.
Oh,
come on.
Well, it did break down. I got to the end of God of War. You know, have you guys beat God of War? You haven't.
I have not.
You just been having these ridiculous opinions, and you haven't finished the game.
Yeah.
Dude, I played
It's just like
25
these
hours of
reviewers.
that thing. I don't even know how the fuck you did it in 2 days. What the fuck?
Okay. All right. Well, at the end,
You didn't want to
there's
spill
like
the
this
beans
big-
then and how much you played it.
What do you mean? I ran right through it. It took like 10 hours. What are you talking about?
Did it? It just kind of looked like an RE4
It wasn't
type
like a
thing. Super linear.
It's still a long ass game.
It wasn't linear.
It's a
as
long ass
they-
game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a main quest, but there's a lot of side quests, and a lot of like little bits and pieces, which seems to be very common nowadays. And I think we talked about this before with Ni no Kuni 2 and all these games.
Yeah,
like, why can't
padding.
we just have? Yeah, it's just like
Or good padding,
What?
like The Witcher 3. Good padding.
not just like fetch quest stuff.
Yeah, good padding. World building padding is good.
I remember searching for little collectible medallions hidden around, like how you shoot the medallions in Resident Evil 4. I
Yeah,
remember
like
a merchant,
minigame padding is good.
like in Resident Evil
What do you
4,
buy?
who would
yeah.
sell you stuff with a fun personality, and
Yeah. There was always a goal with it. Like, Ni no Kuni had not really any good padding from Matt's point of view. I feel like God of War's padding is like, sometimes is good, sometimes is bad, depending on like the Kratos and boy conversation you get because of it. Like, you don't really get anything else because of it, apart from
Yeah, it's
like
the only reason
the
to kind
collectibles.
Do them.
Yeah, but you get a lot of exposition between the Kratos and Atreus, so it can be worth it if you're into that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a spoiler. Never mind.
Between what?
That was a spoiler. I was about to say the boy's real name.
His real name.
His real name.
See,
Yeah,
George
which-
doesn't even know that.
I
Yeah,
think
it
I'll
doesn't
live.
bother me. Oh, so you finished it, Liam?
I haven't finished it, but I did get like near the end.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there's a part at the very end where you're walking up this mountain, and the PS4 started to die. It just shut off. You see what age I'm in?
Was it just like?
just
like it literally was
drove
like
out.
gonna
Yeah,
take you off
it looked
to
like
space.
It left his physical body.
Because we'll
went.
talk about it in a little bit. But the Resident Evil 2 demo, when I was playing that, my PS4 just sounded like it was gonna dig its own grave. It was so ill.
It went to the spirit world. Yeah.
It literally was. It sounded like it. I was like, no, you have to hold out until the end of January, motherfucker. We gotta play this game. Hey, we'll get onto that. Mac, please continue.
Oh, okay. Well, it died. It died horribly, and I had to take it back to GameSpot. Stop. You see how often I go there. And
Yes.
I was like, wait a minute, I don't have my receipt. I was like, you guys can pull it up, right? Because I remember back then, you couldn't do that. Like, if you didn't have your receipt, you just couldn't return something. Because I just left it at home. I didn't lose it or anything like that. But I didn't want to drive all the way back home to get my receipt. And he's like, oh, I was like, you can put it up with my account, right? And he's like, oh, let me see. I'm like, let me see. Please don't. But it apparently they've made their system better, so you can actually pull it up online. But then I asked him, I was like, wait a minute, my saves, it doesn't automatically save to the cloud, does it? And he's like, no, it doesn't.
Wait, did you play through the whole game again.
No, I was able to bring it home, cross my fingers, do like get a chicken, make a little pentagram on the floor, put it next to it, and make it turn on for just a couple seconds. Bought PS4 Plus, downloaded it to the cloud.
Okay.
Then tried to play God of War again just to see if I had to go back to it. And it cut off as soon as it got to the main screen. I was like, okay. Went back, got another PS4. That one started to cut off too.
What?
Oh, come on. What a low
So what happens
bullshit.
is when this one is doable, but what happens is when it goes into sleep mode, it tends to shut off entirely.
Jesus Christ.
Welcome to my world. That's what mine does too.
And you're just like...
And then you just have to
I don't
restart
feel like
it, and
going
then it's
back.
like, would you like to report the problem? And I'm like, no, we do this every day. We dance this dance 1,000 times a year. Just reboot yourself and we'll continue on as normal. People were saying that, well, the listeners of the show were saying that it was my hard disk,
Yeah.
but I've never changed it. So I can't confirm or deny that you will be suffering from the same problem, but you might be.
I don't know. I was a sucker and I bought that damn insurance for a year. So I didn't have to deal with it for a year. So I could just say, here, just exchange this, please. You guys.
But like, what's the price
Extra
difference?
$30 wasted.
Right? Because the price of insurance, of video game console insurance, so that you can return your defective video game consoles that you're buying from GameSpot, is probably just like making up the difference in some scheme that they've got where they've carefully adjusted the pricing and psychological marketing of this stuff for like years behind the scenes to get people feel like they're spending less money when they're really not. Because you went back like twice. Are you going to go back and get a third PS4?
I swear to God, man.
Yeah, this is like, I'm feeling vicarious. It's not, I don't want to say anger. I don't want to say stress. It's like not quite anger, but it's still really pissy. I am like taking vicarious piss from you through the microphone right now. Ooh, that makes me pissy.
Yeah, it does. It does. I thought I was going to spend $200 or less on a PS4, and I'm spending $280. And I'm just like, because of the insurance. I was like, no, this is not okay.
At least you're red boxing your games. That's good. Yeah.
Yes. I did get Horizon Zero Dawn because I wanted to get the complete version, and it was like, what, $16?
16?
$16.
Yeah.
Yeah, $16
Good.
for the complete version. I was like, all right. It's probably going to take me a while from what I've seen. So, anyways, God of War.
Yeah.
Right?
We got to get to Liam's favorite.
Yeah.
I just want to be vindicated again, or
Okay,
be
so I need you to tell
mildly
me,
upset.
remind me what your problems were.
The camera is too close for that third-person combat, and George then played it and agreed. Also.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how you feel.
The pacing.
I feel like you'd be kind of indifferent to
The
it.
pacing of the combat and the level design and that slow-ass camera. Like, the camera's really, really slow and doesn't facilitate, like, combat feeling like you're hammering out awesome-ass combos and stringing them one into another.
Because you want Bayonetta.
Right.
That's what you want.
Yeah, the level designs were, like, just real quiet and sleepy, and whenever Atreus talked, it would just, like, kind of echo into the distance with some dreamlike quality. The combination of the two and the, like, surreal, I guess, dreamy atmosphere of the whole place, which I did think was cool, it all just made me sleepy.
I will reiterate before people shout at us about this. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like it wasn't. I feel like the combat was paced nicely. It's no fucking Bayonetta in any way, shape, or form. It's not even close.
I remember showing a friend who...
The camera is too close.
Yeah, I showed a friend this game for a little while, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I like the new God of War. And I picked it up and gave the controller to him to figure out the controls, kind of sort of mid-game, and he ended up doing the same exact thing I was doing with the combat, which is just throwing the axe, which you've mentioned. Like, that is a good way to get your first hit in, like, most, if not all of the fights, if not all of the enemies in the whole game. And it was so repetitive that...
it's definitely meant to be like that because they have made it so it's like half good third-person combat and also kind of like a third-person shooter because you can throw that thing.
Like Gears of War. Gears of War, God
Except
of War.
Gears of War was
yeah.
more of a projectile combat game, and God of War is more of a melee combat game, but they both have the same system and the camera angle, and it reminds me of how Metal Gear Survive has a lot of melee combat in it, but it's still done with a shooter game engine, so you aim and shoot melee weapons. It's weird.
So, I was thinking about this while I was playing this. And I do agree. I do use my axe a lot. A lot.
What about the camera?
I think it's intentional.
Oh? Yeah.
I think the combat camera is intentional because of Atreus. Because like he starts like first he tells you like, oh, so when someone's behind you and stuff like that. And you do have like the quick turn. Which I never use. And the camera does turn very slowly, so they kind of force you to use that. But I think they're trying to make the combat realistic and also have you depend on the boy as well.
Or
The boy.
yeah.
And,
Press the boy button.
Eventually, he becomes a lot stronger as you upgrade him to the point that people don't even attack you from the behind as much because Atreus is always attacking things like Kratos actually says it like whoever I'm not attacking you should be attacking. I think it's intentional because of the, not to say that it's not like, you know, annoying to not have like the traditional like God of War camera and, you know, Bayonetta camera and all these little action games, auto tomato camera, you know, where you can see everything happening and you can kind of position yourself properly to make combos and stuff like that. It is a little repetitive after a while. There is something later that you get that makes combat a lot easier. And I think you reached there, right, Rillian?
The Valkyries?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like after that, you don't really have a problem with people, like, gang up on you. I have more of a problem with some of the enemies. Like, I don't really like those,
I think my biggest issue with is like positioning. This probably all ties into like what me and George have a problem with. I think positioning in this game is like something you're constantly fighting against. Because the levels are designed to be sort of corridor-like. So when you're fighting against mobs of enemies, the camera doesn't help because one, it's so close in that it's hard to see like where your spatial awareness is to where those enemies are. And then on top of that, because you are in kind of these small linear corridors and sometimes in like kind of dank cave areas where, you know, the roof isn't that high, it feels even more claustrophobic to get your positioning correct to not take damage and stuff. And people are going to be like, oh, that's just because you're bad at the game. But I feel like compared to other action games like DMC or Bayonetta or even the other God of War games, because of the camera being a little zoomed out, you always were able to get your positional awareness correct.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this game, you can struggle with that at times when it doesn't really need to do that.
It's a completely different control scheme. And in beat-em-up games, you're mashing the direction stick in the direction of bad guys with the attack button. In God of War, you are doing a first-person shooter thing. You're pointing a crosshair on the screen at bad guys and then mashing triggers.
It reminds me of Hellblade.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's definitely that close and that kind of combat. It's like
Also that kind of setting.
It's not one way Bayonetta or that way. It's definitely like third person static combat. It's not meant to be like a hack and slash
really
action game.
Did remind me more of Resident Evil 4 than anything else, which I think wouldn't be a bad thing. It just I'm just surprised
I don't think it's that bad.
It looks and Resident Evil 4 is great. It just looks and feels like.
Well, you had to run away, turn around very slowly, and aim your shot, and then some other guy comes up from the side and eats your brains.
I think it was intentional.
It was intentional. It was, and I think like what I ended up doing is rushing enemies. is like constantly moving. So
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Whenever enemies were to attack, they would always
I was
miss.
constantly backpedaling and throwing my axe at them.
No, that's not gonna work. Atreus can only do so much, and Atreus also has a lot of AOE moves as well, like summons and stuff. Like the game kind of forces you to depend on the boy a lot. My gosh, I did not understand the meme of the boy until I played the game. Jesus, boy. He like doesn't even say his name until like something really bad was happening. Like early on, like he's like Atreus. He's like running through the maze and stuff. But that's what I want to say is I never played God of War for the combat. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of action games. Like the middle part of action games, I've always enjoyed boss fights. Like when I played Devil May Cry, never really cared about juggling enemies and stuff. I found it kind of boring after a while.
Played it for the story.
No, I played it for boss fights.
Okay.
I played it for the boss fights. I want to fight big stuff and take them down. For some reason, that's like a thing for me. So every time there's a game that does a boss rush, I'm usually into it because I like boss rushes. Because the bosses are the part that's most fun. At least in the God of War games to me. Like taking on a huge monster, like it's just satisfying. Back then when quick time events weren't like taboo. The variety there. But sadly, in God of War, there isn't much for boss fights.
Oh.
And I think that's my problem. It's not necessarily the combat. It's the enemy choices. They repeat boss fights over and over and over.
Do they keep
again.
doing the trolls?
In different colors, different flavors. It's like going to yogurt land and you're like, you know what? I don't want vanilla. I want some chocolate this time. Oh, wait a minute. They have mint. They have cookie dough. That's exactly what happens. It's just like, why? I don't want to keep fighting the same damn troll again. The same dude, the troll with the totem thing and the troll without it. It's the same move to take him down every time. Every time it's like, why? Why can't you switch? I don't understand. Is that a problem, Liam? To just put in like 3 different moves that cycle between each other for the same amount. For like when you're running, when you're not running, because I see that there's a difference between the two. But there's only 2. You rip them apart, or you slam them down and stump their face in for like the little enemies. Like, why can't they add like 4 more to that?
I mean, if I'm
It's
100% honest, considering how, for all of its faults, that game is incredibly detailed, and the way they structured it, which in my mind is a bit of a waste of time, like this whole continuity of there never being a cut in the whole game and it being one continual sequence, which is
Cool though.
vastly a waste of resources, really. But you got to give it credit for doing that and pulling it off really well. Because to be fair, when the game does take away control from you, you don't feel it that strongly. It just feels like it intersects between your movements and reactions to that. And that game pulls that off really well. But there is a heck of a lot of shit going on in that game. I'm not surprised that there's a lot of reused stuff. It happens. It's just part of the nature of making games of that size.
Now, let me not talk smack here. I enjoyed this game.
I was gonna say. So
I enjoyed this game. Like just because the story was interesting, just to see. Like I feel like the beginning of the game was a little bit better than the middle, but it's still strong because like the thing is it's enough to play this game for the Baldur fights. The Baldur fights are absolutely fantastic.
The opening to
And
that
I
game
thought
is
that's what I was gonna get.
as fuck.
Dude, like when you see what like it's become, God of War, they started showing like what it is to be a god and stuff. You know, their healing and stuff. Like I thought I was gonna see more of that. You know, or I was gonna. I don't want to spoil anything, but like
It
you
is
know,
massive, like it is massively disappointing in terms of the gods that always get spoken about
And
that
you never see them.
You never see them. And it's the inevitable setting up for a sequel kind of thing. But
because
it's like,
it's probably not going to be Kratos that's going to be the main character.
You could have shown like
one fight. Yeah.
Spend
like,
the
I don't
whole
understand.
game thinking they're going to turn up and they don't.
It's I thought I was going to have some boss rush at the end or something. Nope. Sorry, that's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's an older game. Like, you get disappointed. The story is strong to a point that you're kind of okay with the experience, and I enjoyed it a lot. I just feel it got a little bit weaker to the end, like the middle to the end. You know, it gets really, like, when you get, like, the extra weapon, you're like, oh, yeah, this is good again. And then, you know, it kind of slows down again.
And also, using that extra weapon that everybody but George knows about is hampered by the fact that I don't like the camera. That weapon specifically, because an axe is like...
Doesn't it scratch an itch, Joe? It scratches the itch, having that weapon.
Yeah, but you're holding the axe, so it's right next to you. It's visceral. It's in front of you. Like, when you hit something, it's right there in front of you. But when you hit things with the extra weapon...
Do they just give you a gun?
Yes.
I mean, kind of.
It literally turns into Gears of War. They give you a shotgun.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it? I can't believe that they remade...
I mean, George, I think if you used your brain hard enough, you can imagine what weapon it is.
I'm literally imagining just a gun.
Well, then that proves the brain power of Mr. Weedman.
Okay, my second...
It's so obvious.
My second obvious guess is the chain blades from the old game, but they function like a gun.
No, it's
you just want everything to be trash.
Because in the old games you could mash direction buttons and attack buttons, and Kratos would like throw these things on chains and pull them back. So I'm guessing on the new one you just aim them like a gun, and he throws them and pulls them back.
But just imagine trying to use that weapon, but with the camera that you know
be like
from
a short range gun, I guess.
Yeah, it's not too short.
I mean, the axe is basically like a single shot stun rifle gun.
Oh my god.
It penetrates through multiple enemies, doesn't it? I think I remember that upgrade.
That was the throwing.
Yeah. It's the axe.
The upgrades are kind of garbage. Let's be honest. The upgrades are kind of garbage.
They're a bit hit and miss.
I can't comment on the later end of the tree.
I don't like that though. I don't like when upgrades are hit and miss. It makes me not want to spend any of the currency, and that's what happened. Yeah. I had like 80,000 XP.
Like there was two that I got in the beginning, and I was just like, well, these two will do me for the rest of the game now.
Yeah, I don't dodge and like press the attack button at the same. Why? I'd rather just run around and hit things. Like this is exactly what I did the whole game.
I do feel like they made a lot of filler upgrades that are just like, you look at them and you're like, I'm never going to use that. And they know that. They just add it in so it makes it look like it has lots of customizable options.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't going to make this ice wall ever. What? Like, I want to fight people.
Yeah. There's a lot of little things like that. You're just like, eh. But, of course, what people like about the game... It's just the experience of it, you know, like
there are reasons why it won.
All right. So the relationship between Atreus and Kratos is like great. Like in the beginning, like he's being a dad, and it's great. It's fun to see something like this in a game because you don't normally see something like this in a game. And you know, he's like, you know, you're going through this journey of, you know, with this deadbeat dad. Never was around for his son. Like it's
angry
so good.
Homer following you.
It's so good. I think the biggest flaw though is the motivation. Like for the most of the game, you feel like you're just doing an errand.
Well, it's hard to believe. For me, it's hard to believe that Kratos would go to that length. I mean, the God of War franchise has always been about Kratos trying to get revenge for like being tricked into killing his family and whatnot. But so you would think his second family, where he's trying to have redemption, he's probably had a real good life with, what's her name, Faye, and Atreus. But he's never really been close with Atreus, so you don't understand why he's going to such great lengths. You think Kratos would be kind of like, boy, this is dumb. Let's just put her ashes in the tree, and let's move on with our lives.
Well, she was special apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, but to risk his son's life going on this multiverse adventure.
Yeah, all of it is kind of like off. Like just the motivation of it's just off.
It's
and you
fine,
you get this Baldur fight, and he doesn't address it almost. He's like, oh, why is this happening? And let's just go do our ashes real quick. Let's just complete this errand while the gods are chasing me. What? What are you doing?
Have an adventure. Otherwise, there wouldn't be an adventure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I still enjoyed it. Again, I still enjoy it. It's just a little off, especially because the first boss fight set the mood, and it wasn't they could not deliver
that was
on that
anime
vibe.
as fuck. That's what's so good about the opening of God of War is it's anime as fuck. It's so
DBZ
anime.
fight.
It's unreal.
They did it on purpose because when you would hit Baldur or parry his attack, you would hit him through the trees and the trees would break. It was just oh my god, yes.
Fuck yeah, this is like an
through
episode
the
of Boku no
freaking
Hero.
house and everything. Oh, it's so good.
I remember
it's so
another
good.
thing that killed my enthusiasm, and this is the pettiest thing in the world, and I will happily take any punishment you guys want to give me for that. And that is the revelation that this is the same Kratos from the previous games. Which means that going on multiverse adventures killing gods shouldn't be that big of a deal to him. Maybe that's why he doesn't mind bringing his son along, because this is just Tuesday for him.
No, he talks about that.
Yeah, but
He
you
doesn't
gotta
want
think-
Atreus to
Oh,
know.
god damn it. Does he have some teary
Yeah, but you gotta
monologue where he sheds a tear and is like, I killed the Greek mythological pantheon for this?
No, it works. It
Really?
works.
I get where you're coming from,
It just
George,
sounds cheesy
but-
as hell. And after I figured that out, the whole situation that they threw him in was there were no stakes anymore.
What? No, right? I get where you're coming from, but you've got to think, right? How old is Atreus? Atreus has got to be what? 12, 13?
Nah.
So that's already 13 years since Kratos ever did anything like that. On top of that, he must have met Faye, and he must have been wandering from wherever the fuck he was in Greece to wherever the fuck he was in Denmark at this point. So he's traveled that far, and he's met Faye, and he's fallen in love with her, and then he's had a son, and he's raised a son. It's got to be 15 to 20 years since all the stuff that prior had happened. No wonder he's just kind of oh shit, I kind of don't want to do this.
Well,
again.
he's still able to just uproot old ass trees from the ground like it's nothing.
Yeah, because he's still a god. He's a demigod.
He's a god, dude. It's a god.
And that makes it feel like I'm trying to get into Dragon Ball Z during one of the last phases without watching everything really important first. It's this really, 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 really overpowered character is getting thrown into some situation with stakes and emotional connections I'm supposed to care about. But I mean, I don't know if I'm missing some kind of bit of context here, or if it's just an awkward situation to throw this kind of character in.
He's an old dude. He's an old god with an old ass body.
And you can tell,
fights a character
from that first
is
fight.
young.
And you've seen statues of Zeus and what those gods, they age pretty darn well.
No, but you can tell from that first fight that there is something not quite right with Kratos anymore.
Well,
when he fights
anymore,
Baldur,
right.
he is he's on death's door almost.
Wait, you think so?
Because
That's the one where they push straight through the mountains and goes zapping them off in the distance, and then all of a sudden fly after each other and bop each other in the air. Pow, pow. They're like action figures slapping each
Kratos
other.
is beating the fuck up and he's limping back towards the
Oh,
heart.
yeah, I know, but it's just... My brain is interpreting that as over-dramatic because video game. Like, I'm not
He
buying any of it.
He probably hasn't been in a fight for like 20 years.
But it's also they can just make up whatever they want, and they're like,
Yes, because it's a video game.
That's exactly. I don't take this stuff seriously.
okay.
I wouldn't have finished it if I took it seriously. Let me tell you that, because video game stories tend to be kind of you gotta take it with a grain of salt. They tend to be like Aquaman. You know, it's good, like good time. Just don't think about it.
Don't take it too seriously. But speaking of taking things too seriously, although it's nice to have Matt back in the land of the modern man. Speaking of taking things too seriously, we should talk about the Resident Evil 2 demo.
Are you gonna make fun at me for being mad about video games?
And we should talk about it positively
Okay.
before George ruins it for everybody.
Yes. Let's talk about the products that people in the video game industry who make games put out instead of the marketing schemes and the commercialization aspects
you can get to that.
Robots in the video game industry force everyone else to play along with, whether they like it or not.
Oh, he's already getting
Jesus
into
Christ. The game's fine. The game's good.
Just wait a second.
Okay. Resident Evil 2 is fine.
It's the same demo I played at TGS.
Yay!
So
Wait, no, but there's one big difference. But we'll get to that later.
No, because actually this is longer than the TGS demo.
Oh, cool. We got like a whole... You know, on the second run, I did notice there was a good like 22 minutes of content here if you sprinted and know where to go.
Right,
yeah.
Oh, on the second run, so you actually did play it twice.
I know.
So what's
I had to go through some hoops.
You didn't. You just opened another account.
I had to pull some strings, go to some shady back alleys, do some winks and nudges, and flash some signs with my hands to get some extra.
Is it good, though?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's fucking real good. It's real good. And it reiterated how I thought about it at TGS. It's real good. I'm super excited to play this game. There is something about the way Resident Evil levels are laid out that is just like unrivaled. Exploring that police station, going through the way certain areas are lit to the contrast of how dark it is and you have to explore with your torch in other areas is so goddamn fucking perfect at times.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Remember when
It's good.
the window is open and scary, but there's also a body sitting next to it that's open and scary, and you don't know what to look at, and it makes you scared because you gotta slowly walk past both of them real close.
What I really like about this game is for some reason it's like it's impossible to tell if a zombie is dead or not.
Yeah, I just started shooting
They make
them.
like a sound, but sometimes they make a sound and then you'll come back past them and they'll get up again. And it's impossible to tell how many bullets they take because some of them take like 2 bullets to the face, and then some other guy will take like 8 bullets to his face,
counted,
and then still get up.
There were some who stayed on the ground and got up later, but it seems like 3 headshots is a nice, reliable number for predicting this how the combat's going to go. So maybe calling it a 3-shot demo.
No,
would be a
it's
little
definitely
more
more variable. It's definitely more variable than that in terms of like headshots.
Did you find any liquors? I got a tease for a liquor, but I did not. Oh, so they're in there. Good.
I found the bit.
Yeah,
that
there's a note
introduces you to
mentioning
the liquor.
them.
No. When you get the key upstairs, when you walk down that corridor, a liquor goes past the window.
Yeah.
And Leon is like, "What the fuck was that?"
And you get like boards for windows, and you don't know if you're supposed to use them there or later. And right next to it is the body on the hook. It's good level design.
Yes. And then you return to that guy, and then it finishes.
Yeah.
It finishes after that.
And
it's a good demo.
And what happens when it finishes? What am I about to make a big deal about?
It depends. You can finish it, and it gives you a time, and it's like, "Thank you for playing."
Mm-hmm.
So I finished it in 20 minutes because I'd already played it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like MLG Pro.
Yeah, if you know where to go and what to do, it's about 20 minutes.
Well, no, it's different because in the TGS demo you could get the medallions. I don't know if you can get the medallions in this demo.
So wait, I thought you said this demo goes on longer.
Well, it might do if you go a different direction.
What are you talking
No,
about?
it's just like depending on where you go, there is an upstairs level too, and there is a goddess statue and like a thing that requires medallions.
Yes.
That link to the guy's notebook.
Yes.
That you find.
Yes.
You could do that in the TGS demo. You could find the medallions,
Yeah.
right? In this demo, you only get the key, right?
Yeah, and it locks out when you come back to the guy who tells you to go on the medallion quest.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is when it tells you, it gives you your time and tells you thanks for playing, and plays you a cute little trailer for the game, revealing that Tofu is going to be in it. Yay, Tofu.
Yeah. Returning.
There's also going to be a hunk campaign too. So basically, it really does look like the original package from 1998.
It's probably going to be mercenaries, I think.
And then you might feel tempted
Say you jacking off or your hand?
to go through it again, because it's a good demo and it's a good
It is a
level,
good demo.
and maybe you want to like explore more of the level, see if there are any alternate pathways, see what you missed. You know, as one is typically encouraged to do in demos, which are engineered for replay value more than the final game. And then it tells you no, you can't. It tells you fuck you. It shows a big middle finger in the screen, and then zooms into the Capcom president's butthole, I guess, and farts in your face, and then the police come in and arrest you and drag you away and ruin your career and make you starve on the street, because this game... Not only does the demo for this game have a 30-minute time limit, which I was thinking would be fine. When I saw the news of this one-shot Resident Evil 2 demo, I was like panicking at first. And I was like, oh, no way they did that. And then I read some press releases and they were like, players will have a 30-minute time limit to complete the demo. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But no, you really get one shot.
No, they clearly state you get one shot.
You get one shot.
Yeah, to play
That's
it.
fucking
It's
bullshit.
called
That's
the
so
one-shot
bad.
demo. Okay, all right. Before you go on about this, when was the last time you played a demo?
The Kirby Superstars demo on the Switch.
What?
The Kirby Star Allies, not Superstar. That's the normal one.
Okay, Kirby Star Allies, and that was like mostly because that game came free or had like a free mode to it, right?
No,
Was that the
I just
3DS
scrolled
one?
the
One
eShop
of them
for
had a
demos
3DS
and
one.
picked out the ones that looked interesting.
What was the last demo you downloaded before that?
I want to say Azure Striker Gunvolt on the 3DS.
So quite a while ago. Then.
Yeah, about a year.
So nobody downloads demos anymore, George. Nobody downloads demos anymore.
Are you serious?
Barely any AAA games come with demos.
Well, that's because they don't make them. That's like saying, oh, George, you don't eat dodo meat anymore.
No, George, the reason they don't make demos is because no one downloads them anymore.
No, that's actually not true. That's factually incorrect. The reason they don't make demos is due to a 2008 IGRA study that proved mathematically that demos actually result in less sales numbers for games, because demos are a generous, substantial chunk of free product that a kid can either get their value out of...
So that just even more positively proves my point as to why Capcom would make such a demo.
Yeah, it's not rational
One
for
shot.
business. Like a lot of things that are fun in the
but
world.
10 days before the game is about to come out, more people will have played this demo, I think, than probably prior Capcom demos, because of this weird, shitty gimmick to it.
Wait, you think they're playing it because of the shitty gimmick and not because it's a highly anticipated
course.
remake of a beloved game from
Because
the late
it's
90s, now that generation has
it's
disposable
almost
income, now that they're 20 years older?
George, shut up! For fuck's sakes, shut up! Literally, like, it's a purposely confusing marketing tactic to get people encouraged to play it 10 days before the game actually releases. Demos, as you just proved to me,
Huh?
don't have any effect on sales.
No, that's not true.
and
They have a
rather-
negative effect on sales.
Exactly. They don't have a positive effect on sales whatsoever. So they have a negative effect. So how do you go about that? Well, if you're trying to get people interested in a game that is a re-release as well of an old game, so some people are not going to play it because it's a re-release.
It's a
It's
remake.
not a new IP. It's not a new addition to the series, but it is a completely substantial remake. So they need to get people interested in it. And how do you do that? Well, a demo is one way to do it, but as you just proved, they don't have negative connotations for the actual sales of the game.
No, they do.
Then you have to
That's
do
what I said. They
something.
do have negative connotations. IGRA did the study and proved with like sales numbers that.
So they don't have a positive effect on the sales, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So they need to do something to get people interested, and making something that is a weird little gimmick that gets people to download it, because people are going to be like, can I beat this in the 30-minute time limit?
It's just like a little crack under the fingernails, you know?
Yeah.
Something to hold you over. Another full snort, just a little crack under the fingernails.
Are you legitimately saying that this would be better than just a regular demo you're allowed to play twice?
No, of course not. Of course not. I absolutely am not saying that. But what I'm saying is it's not offensive, because you could just, it's so obvious why it was made. Like, it was either this or you were never going to get a demo.
How in the world are you coming to that conclusion? Why couldn't they just make a regular demo?
Because it has negatives.
Because you wouldn't because you probably wouldn't have downloaded it.
Yes, I would have.
I think maybe because you have an interest.
Exactly.
But I think the people who are looking at this game objectively as some people who are passing over Resident Evil already would not have downloaded
objectively.
it.
Yeah, I think Matt's on the nose here. The reason they didn't do a regular demo is because it would have hurt the sales.
Yeah.
Matt, have you downloaded this demo?
Yeah, I've downloaded on Steam. I just fell asleep last night.
Is it because you're interested in Resident Evil 2 or because of the one shot that me and George were talking about?
No, it's because, it's more because of the podcast. I'm a little biased here.
Well, there you go.
All right, so let me see if I could try to separate the podcast from this. I would have probably still downloaded it just because of the weird face stuff.
There you fucking go.
The weird face stuff, but not because I never, like, I watched my friends play Resident Evil. I never was super into Resident Evil. So I would download it just to see if I would like it now.
Yeah, imagine that, giving people a demo to see if they like it.
But it doesn't work, as you just proved, George.
I don't understand how I'm proving that it's okay to start. No, okay, I'm not proving it's okay. I'm proving that business rational decisions take free stuff from people, from like poor kids who have nothing to play but demos because they have nothing to do during weekends spent at their abusive dad's house after a divorce. Like, this shit is like the only way that a lot of kids would have been able to keep up to date with gaming.
Okay, so George, I'm gonna say
I have no idea what you guys are arguing about, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. I have no idea what you guys are arguing about.
This demo would not exist if it wasn't in this form.
Anyway. I mean, yeah, thing is, within the realms of the Capcom development studios, I highly disagree and bet there was a big fight over this. Within the realm of the Capcom corporate marketing offices, I bet they were like, we could do a demo, but sales numbers have shown that there is a correlation.
No way, this was a developer decision.
How do you know?
Because the game locks out areas of the game that were in the TGS demo. It's the same demo with stuff locked.
So how does...
It's from a Japanese... This is most definitely some dumb Japanese decision.
So it's a dumb decision now.
It is a dumb decision. But what I'm saying is, what is also dumb is being irrationally angry about it.
How am I being irrationally angry about it when I have played so many demos of games that were just fine?
You literally spammed the Discord for like 20 minutes about how angry you were about this.
It's such bullshit. Remember when when every AAA game had a demo before they came out? Remember when shareware was the actual standard method of distribution for PC games throughout the 90s? When it was assumed you would have a free version and then a paid-for version on top of it? And how that's just gone away and no one cares? And everyone is like, it's fine. You're just making too big of a deal out of getting out of the price of living being worse, out of the deals you're getting from companies being worse, out of the world constantly getting worse, out of children not even having a future to live for anymore. George, you're being irrationally angry.
No, you just proved that demos have a negative effect on games.
Eat our
being
dead.
sold. So why would they make a demo anyway?
To be nice. To throw us a bone.
They're not going to be. They're a huge Japanese company that don't have a track record of being very nice.
Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, gripe with me.
I still got to play a cool Resident Evil 2 demo with a weird gimmick that isn't that hard to get around. Some people hacked it on PC so you can just get rid of the time limit, which happened in like a day. And then most people have multiple accounts on their PlayStation 4s and can just play it again. I did. I played it 3 times.
That's such bullshit.
And then I was like, do you know what? I'm satisfied now until the game comes out.
So what if you lose your copy of the game and it's like 2030 and you can't just go buy one from a store anymore? And you're in Japan, you know, where buying things with a credit card on the internet is a huge pain. And you want to be like, I need to do some like research on historical depictions.
You still got PT?
Yeah, I have PT installed on that thing, and that's a load of police state corporate dystopia bullshit too, that can just go away at their whim. Man, they have so many light switches that they can just flip off that make our lives harder. I don't understand how you're not up in arms. Like, look at the news stories we have today.
Because at the end of the day, you can download the demo right now on an account you don't use, or you can make one, and then you could just never turn it on. And then you will always have access to that demo at some point in the future.
Such
if you are
bullshit.
so inclined.
That's the destruction of culture and history.
I mean, all I'm trying to say to you is I can understand why it was made like this. I don't think it's a good decision. I don't particularly have any real opinion about it being this way, because it exists in this form or it doesn't exist at all.
I disagree. I think that's the more unlikely scenario than them taking the financial hit of releasing a good demo. Because guess what they did with the previous Resident Evil game?
Are you talking about Resident Evil 7?
Yeah, the beginning hour demo. That thing convinced me to buy a VR headset in the first place. It was a great demo. It like stands the test of time as being like one of the greatest demos. Like they made it on a little level for it that you're supposed to replay.
Was pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, it drummed up hype for a reboot of Resident Evil that's more survival horror oriented instead of action oriented.
What was the gimmick about that?
Yeah,
there was still a gimmick to it.
It was like an hour-long run-through of a couple rooms from the game. It was it didn't have...
The gimmick was that it wasn't titled Resident Evil 7 for like a year.
Right, beginning hour. Wasn't it called Resident Evil 7 Beginning Hour?
To it. Yeah, no, it was called the Kitchen Demo.
No, the Kitchen Demo was a different thing.
That existed for a year
That was a
before
VR
Beginning
demo.
Hour.
Yeah, I don't think they labeled the Kitchen Demo as RE7. People had their hunches, but I definitely remember the RE7 demo being called RE7 Beginning Hour. Point is, you could replay that one. You didn't have to make multiple accounts. They expect you to be able to load it up again years from now in the future. They used it to push cool gimmicks like VR features instead of bad gimmicks like games that just delete themselves after you finish them.
This was a nuclear option to get people to download the demo and play it, because this is a remake. It's not a new entry into the series.
It is insane that you guys are still talking about this.
A huge amount of hype behind it. Like, it's a very highly anticipated release.
It has huge hype behind it because you live in a sphere of people who played Resident Evil 2 when they were kids, because we work in the games industry.
No, and more people have played this demo than the previous ones in the Resident Evil series, and it's set up to be one of the biggest launches in the series history.
Yes, because it has this weird gimmick.
No, that's not... You're seeing, like, correlation is not causation. Yeah...
I've seen dumb decisions like this made at game studios multiple times because they think it will work a certain way, otherwise it wouldn't exist.
The player numbers on this demo are like triple RE7 on Steam. They're gonna do fine, regardless of a shitty demo or not.
Because it's this weird shitty gimmick.
It's such a shitty gimmick. Like, seriously, I was actually really, really looking forward to this, and now it just made me depressed.
See, that is the irrational response to it that I feel like is why we have this weird toxic culture of video games.
Fuck economic rationality. Fuck business sense. Fuck EDAR doing research proving that whales keep mobile games afloat and demos do bad shit to game sales in the long term. Matt, how is Horizon Zero Dawn?
Did it make you angry, Matt?
It's a game where the characters constantly talk to themselves like they're, like they're crazy. I guess. I don't know.
They're crazy.
I remember seeing that from a demo video from E3, and everyone thought I was crazy because it looked like the character talks to themselves way too much for it not to get annoying after like a 60 to 70 hour full-time job of a video game, and everyone thought I was crazy.
It's so weird. It's so weird. When you play God of War and you go to this thing, and like the voice actor for Rost is like just so bad, and he's talking to himself, and the little kid, I can understand the little kid talking to herself, but she grows up and she's like, oh, I wonder why he's so angry. Maybe he's hiding something. Shut up. I can tell by the face expressions it's just right properly, and I don't know. I don't like that. It's like TV shows, you know, those like, it's like those TV shows that they talk to themselves, like because they think that the viewer is so stupid for them not to understand what's going on.
Oh,
it's like patronizing crap. I hate. So
it's like
that.
Dora the
I hate it
Explorer,
so
the
much.
video game.
Yeah, exactly. Where are we going? Grandma's house. Where are we going? Grandma's house. Yes.
How do you find the combat there?
I actually don't know if I care for it.
Oh no, I was interested in this game until Breath of the Wild came out, and then I decided I kind of had enough of this stuff.
I still can't believe these games came out a week between each other. That is fucking brave. I mean, it worked out for them because Horizon sold like fucking hotcakes, but man, that is brave.
Brave, just like the Nova Brave in the game. Yeah, you haven't played it yet. Am I the only one?
Yeah. I played the demo back at TGS. Demo.
I'm just like imagining the awkwardly silent stage audience from that joke.
It's brave, just like the characters in the game that are also called that. No, it's a cool game. I like the setting. I think the setting is more interesting than anything else. The combat is not bad or anything like that. It's just they don't really tell you much. Like it's you have to kind of really get into it. You have to set up the traps. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they tell you through the loading screens that are very helpful. You know. But basically the combat is you scan the enemy, you figure out what the weak points are. If it's a little monster, then you shoot those weak points. Like it might be like their little sensor lens, or it might be a certain body part that might explode, or you might, if it's a bigger enemy, you might have to disable them, get up close, knock off some armor pieces to expose some like weak points. There might be things on the enemies that explode that you don't want to be too close to. It's a very interesting game. It feels weird, like to kind of like slide around and slow down time. Like I feel like sometimes stuff doesn't work. Like it still has a lot of glitches.
Slide and slow.
Yeah, like for instance, like doing a silent strike. Sometimes you'll press R1 and maybe the character would move, or maybe the enemy would move like right outside of like some weird hitbox for the pop-up to come up to do a silent strike, and you would just do a regular attack. And it's happened to me multiple times. And it's enough for you to have to restart the whole section. Because a lot of those sections you kind of have to use stealth, or it's just going to be a very annoying time. Enemies are constantly jumping at you over and over and over again. These like I forgot what they call the little machines that are extremely fast. And I kind of like that it's hard because it's like machines. Like they're supposed to be able to come at you. They're not just going to wait for you to attack them. They just come after you constantly. And if you don't play it smart, or as they say, respect the machines, then you'll be overrun and killed immediately. The thing is, like, you don't know what you're supposed to do in terms of upgrades. Like, you have these weapons at these merchant cells and these armors, and you don't really get it. Like, you have these little stat numbers and these little icons next to them, and it's actually clearer to just read the description to try to get what it's supposed to do. And even then, they have multiple different icons that they don't explain, and you're like, what is this? What are all these numbers? Why is this weapon a rare? And the weapon I have right now have more handling and stats. Like, what? Why would I spend money on this rare bow if this has less stats? Like, it doesn't make any sense, and they don't explain any of it. So you just kind of, for me, I hoard. When I don't understand something, I hoard until the game explains it to me. But then I feel, when I die, I feel like, maybe I should like look this up. But I don't like looking things up. I like just kind of going out there, just kind of figuring it out myself. But man, yeah, it's, I don't like feeling uneasy when I'm playing a game like that. I just kind of feel like playing the game. I don't want to have to figure things out like that because the game is just doesn't explain. Am I wrong here? Like, have you guys played it?
No.
I've
Any of
only
you guys
played
played
it
it?
briefly.
No.
I actually, because Breath of the Wild came out a week later. It's like, that
In
wasn't
Breath
gonna
of the
happen.
Wild, I would say you won't have that problem because it makes sense. It makes sense. You know what weapons are stronger. You know what things do. In Horizon, you don't. You're just kind of just doing stuff. And I think this goes into this open world thing that developers are doing now, or game companies are doing now, where it's just like I'm playing Spyro or Banjo-Kazooie, where I'm just collecting things on the map over and over again, doing these like filler side quests. It's the same thing with God of War. There's a lot of filler in that game.
I was just gonna say, to be fair, God of War is pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, it's like, that's what I'm saying. All of it's the same. It's just filler. Like in God of War, you had these two, I guess, worksmiths or weaponsmiths, armorsmiths, both of them at the same time, and they have like their own story, and it's weirdly shoved into the main story a bit. And they tell you to go do stuff, and sometimes it's epic, sometimes it's just like a fetch. It's mostly just a fetch quest. It's just a lot of running around for no reason. I just want to play the main story. Unless you're Witcher 3, I don't care about your side stories. I don't.
Every fucking
care about the
year
side
is
stories.
just like becoming another reminder that I need to get away from AAA. Like, it's not for me anymore. Like,
It's
my
not.
money is not going where I want it to. The products are not what I want them to be.
And that's why I didn't get Persona 5. That's why I didn't get Persona 5, because I know, I was like, you know what? Let me try to get in the right mood before I play Persona 5.
I feel like
Because
it's
I
weird
swear,
to
if
call
I
that
play that
AAA.
game,
Yeah, I don't know if
and it's
that's
just like
part of the same.
No, it's not going to be filler.
No, I bet it would
It's not
be
gonna be filler
filler,
with all
just
this-
like not really slow moving filler where you gotta wait on your character's 3-second animations to pick up loot from the ground like in Red Dead.
Oh no, dude. Okay, you know what's worse than that? Horizon. Horizon is absolutely worse than that. I mean, it's almost to the degree of Final Fantasy 15, where you can't like. It takes a while to just pick up resources. But except Horizon Zero Dawn, like, it's part of the game for you to pick up resources. You cannot walk by these guys because everything, the ammo pouches, upgrades, like the resistant potions, the health potions, the amount of weapons you can hold, all that is upgraded by like metals and trees and plants and boar skins, and you have to go around hunting little rabbits and shooting them in the face, and it's just it's so much like, just to why do I have to sit, like, spend, let's see, I would say a good 40% of the game holding triangle to pick up a tree, and it's like a perfectly sized tree that's not necessarily a tree. It's like a big branch stuck in the ground. It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't know. I don't know if this is for me. I've gotten tired of it already, and that's not good. That's not good because I played a good minute, but I feel like I have to hold out so I can see the ending because the story is quite interesting. Well, the setting is quite interesting.
That's the thing. AAA, they still got the cool settings and the cool characters. Like I've always wanted a game making good on cowboy fantasies and cool post-apocalyptic hunter-scavenger fantasies, but they're all just kind of the same, except with their own flavor of 3-second long busy work button presses that meld them into a little pile of plasticky goop.
I think I'd just rather play Spider-Man because I know Spider-Man probably won't be this anal about picking up resources. You know, what are you gonna do with Spider-Man? Like steal from like people on the ground and fly away?
It won't, but
I'm pretty sure there's collectibles.
Be prepared to be fucking collecting everything. You pretty much are playing Banjo-Kazooie or Donkey Kong 64 when you play Spider-Man.
Oh my
Spider-Man
god!
64.
Why?
Speaking of bland AAA collectathon games that leave one depressed about the state, the creative possibilities, the creative limits of our industry.
Spider-Man's still good though.
I'm not talking about Spider-Man.
Oh, you're talking about the other one I feel empathetic
yes,
towards.
Yes. I put Far Cry 5 on my GameFly queue like 2 months ago, and it showed up in the mail.
Oh, they came out with another one?
Yeah. You didn't hear the shocking controversy and the aspects ripped from today's headlines about this game?
No.
So the premise of Far Cry 5 is that you are a character stuck out in the middle of the Montana wilderness with a crazy evangelical cult that's basically taken over the area by bullying and banditry and they're shooting civilians and they're just fucking crazy. And I guess this is what it feels like to live in some impoverished third world shitty country and you're playing Ghost Recon Wildlands and you're like, oh, come on. Colombia has like a lot of good people, I'm sure. Because the thing is, in this setting, it feels so disbelievable that the crazy they borrow a lot of symbolism from like modern neo-Nazi and white nationalist movements, which gives it this like gritty, ripped from today's headlines. But they don't want the characters to spout anything from the associated manifestos, because I guess that would be taking it an inch too far. And there's just like this loading screen animation where the little loading screen icon in the corner of the screen that rotates around is like like an old German Iron Cross symbol that's like turned into black and white and muted into something more modern and scary, but it spins around in a cute little loading screen animation, and it just like it disempowers the alarmism of it all. They basically gave the villains of any previous Far Cry games to the point where I'm almost like thinking that they just remade the same cutscenes, but with whiter characters in churches instead of underground bunkers in the middle of the Montana wilderness. The reason why the National Guard and the Army doesn't just roll through this area and fix the problems is that, oh no, all the people you could call on dispatch are in on it. They're part of the cult as well. And so your main character has kind of a Resident Evil 1 cutscene situation where their helicopter crashes, and I guess they don't have any cell phones when they wake up, and there's no way to, like, I don't know, tweet out this news of evangelical cultist rebellion happening in the rural U.S. Because your character then decides to go on a rampage, killing all these cultists and quote unquote restoring peace and order by walking towards a bar after your helicopter crashes and you're lost in the woods. And when you get close enough to the town that the bar is in, the screen just fades to black. It teleports you inside the bar where it looks like they're watching the late night news, even though it was daytime in the game you were playing. It's so fucking lazy. And the character who runs the bar will like look at you and be like, hey, listen up, rookie. In order to take out this cult, we can do this 3 ways: by taking out their leadership, by destroying cult property, or doing main story objective missions. And I just, like, I just could not believe how they ended up making the same game, despite the radically different setting, the radically different like flavor of villains that should have a lot of really alarming material from like modern news and internet forums to poke from, to poke holes in the philosophy and contradictory goals of these groups. And pray. They just reskinned pagan men as some poor ass white redneck guy. They just reskinned his dictator's palace in North Korea to look like a cultist compound in the middle of a flyover state, and they just reskinned. This is what really like especially kills me is the minioning. Like the bad guys are Resident Evil 4 zombies. They're basically like fat white guys and wife beaters who look like they're from the countryside, but they will rush you in a straight line to death. Like they are so ready to fight and kill at a moment's notice, and it feels like such a wasted opportunity not to flesh out these characters and their struggles more. And also make a little more of a connection with what the angst and the ennui of the modern viewer of this video game is to play. There's one line in the very, very beginning of the cutscene that does that, and it has a kind of mockumentary scene where it goes from character to character, focusing on their faces as they talk about this cult going crazy in the middle of the woods. And a guy just says, we never used to take groups like this seriously. And that's the one line, the one and only line that makes you think. Everything else just makes you into a dumb hyper-consumer collectathoner, scooping shit up from the ground with 3-second long hold the button down animations, with the same exact control scheme, same exact gunplay. The woods look exactly like they did in Far Cry Primal, which took place 10,000 years ago in the Stone Age. I can't believe that they just made the same game again! Wah!
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send it back and see what else they can send me through GameFly.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get Spider-Man just for that same reason.
Yeah. I feel like for all we've said about AAA today, I feel like at least in 2018 there was a lot of attempts to branch out a little bit or to do things differently. Like I respect what God of War did, and also Spider-Man, for as much as the pitfalls of that game come from the genesis of AAA games and collectathons and all that kind of shit, the main gameplay loop of that game is so fucking good, the swinging around the city, that there was some progressive steps, but like, man, some Ubisoft franchises,
Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn does have a tower. It's just moving.
So does Breath of the Wild, though, so I can't really complain too much.
Yeah. I mean, I probably will finish it. I'll just do it in short bursts, I think. I think I might rent a game.
Yeah, not like the God of War 3-day stint.
Well, God of War was good. God of War was good. I enjoyed God of War.
No, it's not that. It's a long game, and you finished it in 3 days.
No, it wasn't long. It was like
hours.
Less than 20.
It was not less than 20.
It's less than 20. I didn't do any of those side missions.
It takes 15 hours to get to like the first the elf world.
Well, how many times did you die?
Not that many, to be fair. Even the camera trying to kill me.
I died in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, because like it gets a little nuts, especially with the poison shaman. I hate some of the enemies. The elves. I hate the enemies in that game. Elves.
I don't like the elves.
Yeah, it's just like just get me out of here. I don't want to see the elves anymore. Yeah, but yeah. I still enjoy that. I'm really interested because for some reason I saw a Boar Man, but it's Boner Man that you have on the dock here. Oh. What movie did you see?
Oh, I don't know. I saw Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse, but Liam is not going to see that for a while, I think, because of the Japan release schedules being...
Yeah.
Just say yes, sir. Yes or no. Yay or nay?
Oh, I was gonna be funny about it, but no one will get the joke. Yes.
Good. You know good things. I swear, George, it would have been over. It would have been over if you said it wasn't good.
I mean, I did pick Sugar Puffs.
Okay.
We can do more in depth on the Spider-Man Enter the Bonerverse when Liam sees it. Until then,
Yeah, boy.
let's head to the news after a short break.
Welcome to Ammunition. You've made the smartest decision of your life. You've come to a gun shop. We hope you get everything you need to feel real manly and patriotic. Don't forget to check out our selection of landmines. They're the gift that keeps on giving year after year. Why not check out our selection of flamethrowers? We've got a special on hand grenades. And if you're too fat and lazy to throw them, check out our grenade launchers. Pop it in, pull the trigger, and boom! You've blown a hole in something. Sign up today for your Ammunition Frequent Sniper card. Buy 10 guns and your next one is on us. Thanks for visiting Ammunition. At Ammunition, we don't need a background check, a wad of American currency, conflict diamonds, or your daughter is enough. Coming soon, armor-piercing bullets. Ask our salesman about every sportsman's favorite, the anti-tank missile. You don't need to clean the deer when he's already been minced. The store leading the fight against communism is having a blowout sale.
Hello, and welcome back
Welcome back.
to the Dad and Sons podcast.
We're
here to
Returned.
yes.
We've all hugged it out. We all don't hate AAA or demos or whatever. Don't worry.
I mean,
Your 3 gay dads are fine.
the latest news in this week is not making me very confident about whether or not I'm going to stop hating AAA soon, because hey,
You mean your relationship with internet magician Randy Pitchford?
well, yeah, okay, let's jump into the Randy Pitchford story. Yeah, Randy Pitchford's in the news this week. Another year, another Randy Pitchford being in the news story.
If you ever wanted to know how batshit insane the video game industry is, let alone just looking on Twitter every day, how about this?
I got into a Twitter fight with Randy Pitchford because he started taking pictures of people at his local shopping mall selling bootleg Fortnite and Nintendo merchandise and was like tweet reporting it to... It's just some kid's shitty summer job, and I get it.
What?
Okay.
And now,
Wait,
what's he been up to,
what?
George?
Randy Pitchford is being sued. Again, another year, another Randy Pitchford lawsuit. Randy Pitchford is being sued by a former lawyer from Gearbox, alleging a smattering of boring contract violations, along with some more interesting stuff. Basically, I see what's going on here. This is why they say that lawyers are just like sharks eating each other. This lawyer is noticing that during his soured business relationship with Randy Pitchford, some contract violations were broken, and he's also using the lawsuit to see if some other charges can just stick by throwing stuff out there. The biggest, I think, most obvious one is some allegations over the misuse of company funds. Apparently, according to this lawyer, Randy Pitchford has been pocketing some millions that should be going to the staff, which would fit his character. He likes to kind of boast about how wealthy his house is and how he liked to have parties with the kids from SGC when we were over there. Remember that, Matt? Anyways, apparently he isn't just alleging to slush some funds over for his own personal account that should be going to the staff. There's also allegations over corporate irresponsibility, one episode of which includes Randy Pitchford leaving a USB drive full of corporate secrets and sensitive documents relating to games Gearbox was making with partners such as Take-Two, 2K, Sega, and Microsoft, and Sony, as well as pornography. And this is something that's not just from the lawsuit's allegation. A day after news sites found out about this lawsuit from December, Randy Pitchford went on a podcast and said, hang on. I got quotes on here somewhere that this was, quote, "This was before I learned I should probably have password protected memory sticks." Yeah. So he's admitting in this podcast that he left a non-password protected USB drive at this medieval times restaurant, and that some kid working there who has better job security than the people Randy Pitchford report on Twitter, found this drive, went through it so that they could figure out who to return it to, which means they would have seen a apparent alleged video of a webcam model jerking off. And I guess Randy Pitchford was joining in the fun on his side of the screen.
Wow.
And Randy Pitchford's a hobbyist magician. He's kind of goes in and out of these magician phases. Right now, he decided with his millions to buy a magician magazine and put on some magician shows at his estate, his compound, his ranch, whatever you want to call it in Texas that he has. And this quote that he has on the podcast says, "I realize this is not a sex worker. This is a fucking magician."
Wow.
He also then...
That's painful.
Does he have a wife and kids?
Yeah. Well,
He
I know
does.
wife. I don't know if he has kids. He then clarifies, quote, "It was barely legal porn. The girl's handle was only 18. The USB flash drive was returned to Gearbox in exchange for swag and video games." The lawyer's lawsuit also alleges that the video on this hard drive was his own personal collection of, quote, child pornography. Quote.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see if... I guess the lawyer will have to see if that one sticks or not. But basically, the lawyer cites, quote, information and belief, as well as an episode where the lawyer did request this USB drive during his class action lawsuit after the release of Aliens Colonial Marines. The lawyer needed that for evidence. Called over to Gearbox, asked them to send it over. Apparently, Randy Pitchford personally interjected and was like, "Wait, no, I gotta delete that one and give him a different copy of the USB drive." Callender was unable to see the original files, he alleges, because, quote, Pitchford intervened by retrieving the lost USB drive himself and ordering Gearbox personnel to destroy the copy that Callender requested. Quote.
Wow. Wow. Why do people like this get money?
Because they are...
Yeah, I know that's a very stupid question because obviously the world is just that's the way they are. But it's just as Dave Chappelle has said, why did they give y'all niggas money?
Probably...
They should have never gave y'all niggas money.
Probably because
that's Boondocks as well.
Their parents had opportunities to work shitty jobs to fund their kids to have cushy jobs. And when Randy Pitchford was reporting people at the mall selling bootleg merchandise, it was the pettiest fucking thing I've seen in my life from this rich adult who has supposedly better things to do, but apparently he doesn't.
Whatever floats your boat, Randy.
Yeah.
Tricks.
You reckon he's just in his office the whole time, just jerking off, not making Borderlands 3?
Yes.
Taking home that money, that sweet, sweet money.
You and Randy go way back, George.
Let's move on to the next depressing news story about AAA people and industries and games just going straight to hell, and this happens in Japan. Remember when the industry cracked down on your friend's game bars, and the ACCS had lobbied on behalf of Nintendo to get the government arresting people? Remember that? Well, the ACCS is at it again.
Remember that.
I made a video. Liam did a lot of footage. He traveled across the country for me, and I really liked his B-roll of the trains. I'm going to use that again someday. Anyways.
It replaced the noodles.
Some legalese in the Japanese copyright code has been updated to potentially make game save editors and console modding services illegal. I was wondering last week why this news story wasn't popping up in English language sources everywhere, and yeah, it's a case of don't believe everything on the internet you see. Basically, I think GameSpot and Kotaku ran a story saying that this outlaws the products like Action Replay and Cyber Save Editor is apparently the popular one in Japan for PS4. Both of those have been discontinued as of like a week ago when this news breaks. However, there are other interpretations of this law that, again, go through translations and ideological activism agencies that make it a little bit different, which is why I don't think you've seen this reported everywhere, that seem to clarify that instead it's the commercial sale of console modding and save editing services that are illegal. Doing it in your home in the privacy of your own self is apparently still okay. But I would still wonder about whether or not it's legal to sell action replays and save editors. I don't know. Liam, if you're ever in a game shop again, can you take a look for those items and see if they're still around?
I haven't seen an action replay in Japan.
GameSpot says that the action replay and cyber save editor are both popular in Japan, and I don't remember the action replay being lying around. It's the cyber save editor that I've at least seen mentioned in text resources, but still never with my own eyes in one of those shops.
It's weird because I'm not actually really... I feel like this is just another thing like the game bars where Japan is just making up laws that they want to make up, and then they'll fit the definitions of them around whatever they just suspiciously arrest people for dumb shit.
Yeah, but if that also doesn't piss you off and make you depressed, I mean, what's it gonna take these days?
It does. I mean, it does. Of course it does. It's just... Japan does shit like this all the time to its, like, most powerful industry. And it's all because...
It's not
as we found out with the game bars, it's a flex. It's a flex of an organization backed by shitty people like the management at Capcom and Nintendo.
Bit scared of it being more of a flex and more fucking nepotistic corporate meddling into the legal system. You know, renting games has not been legal in Japan since the 80s, since Nintendo lobbied for that, and that's why that whole industry never popped up. Ultimately, a decade later, what these kinds of flexes do is take away jobs, take away businesses, and that's why it's probably important to note that it's the commercial sale of these services that are illegal. That's still someone's job. And I mean, like selling bootleg merchandise at the mall in Frisco, Texas. You gotta like wonder what's really better for society in the long term. Some poor person having a job so they can support having a shitty job doing legally gray things so they can support a kid growing up having a cushy job doing legally peachy things, or basically enforcing some really obscure, arbitrary, hard-to-figure-out copyright laws that no one really knows about, so that a company can at least get their $15 million bonuses that go to their executive salaries, as happened to Activision Blizzard's new CFO. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go through this one real fast. We don't have a lot of time to delve into this one. And also, this isn't exactly a shocking news story so much as it is...
I mean, this is just an example of what Matt was talking about.
Yeah, this is business as normal. This is life being unfair. The reason this is news now is because the stakes are getting really fucking high, and people are realizing just how much easier these people have it than the rest of us. Activision Blizzard's new CFO is Dennis Durkin, who has previously worked at the company before for over a decade. He was a previous CFO before someone else was in that position. He got promoted from within the company and was given a $15 million bonus in stock options for taking the job. Not even doing work, just taking the job. This guy, I guess, glided his way from Harvard to Dartmouth to Microsoft corporate programming. What's that?
I just wonder how anyone can be as valuable as being like, we're going to give you 15 million for taking the job. Like, was he just sat there like, I don't know if this is for me.
No one's going to say that if they're just going to get $15 million from it. And this is coming during a time where Blizzard is downsizing. There are people being fired. They're letting go of... I just said Blizzard, sorry, Activision Blizzard. They're letting go of Bungie, and
But George, this is why they need to pay a man 15 million to be their chief financial officer,
But
so he can do the finances to get everybody
The other thing to
jobs.
remember is that the 15 million is not
15
exactly
million.
cash, and this is the misconception that a lot of people have when talking about the like quote unquote worth of these ridiculously rich people out there and how their assets could pay off the national debt. Is that they're not cash. You can't just turn that $50 million into money. It's stock options. It's $50 million in company stock. So what these moves encourage when executives are paid out the ass in bonuses while actual workers are being fired is to basically artificially increase the stock price of this company by buying back their own stocks after their employers leave and lose their stock benefits, so that they can artificially increase the value of their company and turn that $15 million bonus into, well, let's see, he already gets paid a $900,000 wage in cash, so he can probably sell off some stocks, get a few millions in addition to that, while products are not being shipped as much as they used to, games are not being made as much as they used to, people are not getting hired with old, reliable, established employers as much as they're used to. They have to be self-employed, they have to have gigs and work for commissions and get their own health insurance and benefits and retirement funds. And it's a fucking mess. And this is, the reason this is news is because people are just now figuring out how shit this is.
Yeah.
Yep.
15 million. You know what I would do with 100,000? Oh my god.
Oh my god, tell me about it. Like, right now, I can't even buy myself a copy of Resident Evil 2. I need that demo.
Dude,
Yeah,
dude.
whoa. You can't afford to play the full game and want to replay the demo again. Well, fuck you.
Wow, you just ran into that.
You totally
Liam.
did.
Holy
Oh,
crap.
no. Oh.
I did it on purpose.
Walked right into it.
I did it on purpose. And ultimately, no, it's true. I am very poor because I'm moving. I can't buy the one game I want to play this year, yet this dude gets 15 fucking million. I hate it.
I need to.
I've been
hate
saving $1 for the last 60 days to buy Kingdom Hearts 3. Still hoping
I was
to
gonna
be
say, I was gonna be like, Matt, that's only $60. I don't know what you can do with
Yeah, you
this.
can't do much for $60 these days, especially in California. Let me tell you. But Kingdom Hearts 3, that's gonna be.
I'm actually super excited for you to get that.
Yeah.
On a positive note.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit back, relax, and do nothing
I need
for
to
about 3 days.
see how much.
until
Nice.
the podcast.
I,
It's my last 3 days. Last 3 days of peace, and then that's the end of that.
I need to.
Well, yeah,
Speaking of positives,
yeah.
shall we field some questions from our lovely
I
dad?
need to move us on to questions.
And wait a minute, there might be some daughters in there. Let's see.
There might be some daughters.
No, I see a lot of O's and N's at the end of first names.
One of them is a username. Might be.
With an
could be a
O at the
username.
end. I mean, whatever floats your boat. If you want, yeah, I guess so.
Fiona. Oh, that's
You ever
a
heard of
name.
a girl, Justin? I've never heard of a girl, Justin.
If you would like to send us any questions, comments, contribute to the arguments, pat me on the back, let me know that I'm right about this RA2 demo lockout after one playthrough being a donkey loaded
Or
doo-doo.
wrong.
Please send those thoughts to dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com. Once again,
We need you to brighten our day.
yeah, oh my god, yeah.
We love you.
Yo, actually, new thought.
Even you,
Send
James.
us funny videos or funny
Carrie.
questions. Specifically, yeah, let's have a funny week. 2019. Start the like 5% milestone of this new year off on a funnier note. And
This is my last podcast in Okayama, so let's make my first one in Kyoto a fucking blowout.
if you would like to submit funny
Blow.
joke questions that you expect us to have a good time answering, or like just little bits of positive questions and feedback, send it to dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com. We got two I wanted to tackle this week that should be fun. First up is from Justin F., who asks, can you dads or songs mention any games you really, quote, get, or games that are for you that other people just don't understand at all why you're so wrapped up in them? I expect George's choice to be pure utter trash. Thanks, Typer. They just joined the Discord. Hi, Typer.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, I don't.
Tactics-based anime games.
But I like Fire Emblem.
Yeah, you do now, but it took some pushing and shoving to get you to play it.
Just because time. I liked them when I was a kid, and now I like them as an adult. But there was definitely
Advance
a
Wars,
10-year gap
Fire Emblem, Valkyria Chronicles, Disgaea.
Really? You got into
tactics games.
Disgaea?
I mean, I had in the past. I'm just naming off, like, very good. And Final Fantasy Tactics, of course. I think tactics-based anime games is, like, the one that I really like. I really like Fire Emblem. I feel like that's where it stems from. And some people just don't like tactics games in general, let alone anime aesthetic ones.
Mega Man Battle Network, was that popular back in the day?
I don't think it was popular,
niche.
but it was fun.
Right.
I enjoyed Mega Man Battle Network. Really did.
It was fun. Man, we need some more obscure shoutouts like Mega Man Battle Network.
Mega Man
I
Battle
actually
Man.
downloaded them on the Wii U Virtual Console like a couple of years ago. Played through them again.
I would probably play through
Metal
it again.
Network.
It's fun. It's just the combat is fun. And you're like hacking into the oven to like fix the oven. It's so ridiculous. It's so anime. Like, oh no, the oven's on fire. I might burn in this house. Let me jack in this electronic that's literally on
Matt,
fire.
Please stop jacking into everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of jacking with young children in there, and it's really weird. Really weird.
George, what about you?
You know, I want to take things back a little while and say walking simulators.
Everybody gets Metal Gear. George.
No, I didn't want to pick Metal Gear because everyone likes Metal Gear anyway. I didn't want to pick Witcher because I feel like I've gone down my rant about how charming.
Everybody likes The Witcher as well.
Yeah, I was right, but do people still get mad about Gone Home?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I'm pretty
cool.
sure people have strong opinions about how it's not a game.
Basically, when I was growing up, I would make maps for Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy, and I would do like little environmental storytelling obstacle courses, basically, where I would just like recreate my house, but with some stupid internet jokes. And Gone Home always just struck me as like a more high production values, professional version of that sort of shtick, which was a fairly...
That sounds like a Brendan Chung game.
Yeah, like the...
Like 30 Flights of Love or Gravity Ball.
Hey, I don't know if you've gone through Gone Home, but there's no characters,
right.
there's no quote-unquote combat, and apparently that means it's not a real video game. But that was a really popular motif for the longest time in the modding communities of those old-ass multiplayer games, to make maps that weren't really meant for combat, but more for exploration and shits and giggles, and that's an ethos that I saw repeated again in the Fallout 3 and New Vegas modding community, where people would make custom quests that like didn't have combat in them. They're just kind of like a fancy paper trail of like minor puzzle solving to keep your brain awake going through, and I have never really questioned why this would not be a legitimate form of interactive entertainment as fun and engrossing as many video games. But apparently, the gamer intelligista, the well-regulated militia, the fucking gaming mafia, really disagrees with me and wants to break my kneecaps over it.
Just make more Metal Gear videos, George. You'll be fine.
I don't know if this is something... No, I think people like Soma. Yeah, people like Soma.
Yeah, there were monsters to run away from.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Soma's much more than just a horror game.
Excuse
me. It's not. You're not playing Slender Man here, where you're just walking through and nothing's happening.
Internet
no real
man.
game design.
It's like
Matthew
Excuse me.
trippy science fiction thought experiment sometimes. It's neat.
It took.
It's still got like...
Took like a year for
gameplay
it to reach
elements.
500,000 copies sold.
Yeah, so I guess that's
really
still
long. That's quite an established studio. I mean, to be fair,
Frictional
Celeste
games?
has only sold 500 million as well.
Bless you,
Don't die.
Why, thank you.
man.
Oh, did they really? I didn't know
Man.
they made Amnesia.
Yeah, Frictional
Oh.
Games. What a good studio. What a great example of why I need to not pay attention to AAA stuff anymore. Because it makes me so mad, but there's studios like them that fill the gaps so well. They are the mortar, they are the cement holding our lives together.
Agreed. Pretty damn good.
Yeah. All right. Next question is from Ni He La Zhao asks, my question, do you think that the way we design game-making tools and the example/prefab projects for them are hurting video game creativity? Do you think that with a more varied tool set for quick and easy development, we'd get more variety in the video games we see?
Unreal is pretty cool, is it not? I messed around with the camera in Unreal, but I don't have a lot of experience with video game editing, other than like Game Maker and stuff.
I promise not to go on a big rant about this, but I feel like the bottom line of this is like, no. We live in pretty much the most accessible and varied era of video game creation ever. Like, you can use so many engines now, not even just like Unity, Unreal, or Game Maker. You can use like RPG Maker, you can use Game Maker MV, you can use the OnClick, you can use Twine, you can use so many different things. And on top of that, everyone has like access to versions of free software for like Photoshop, like open source versions of that. There's so many tools for making pixel art, there's so many tools for recording sound. Like, there is a lot of stuff like Unity asset stores. I think that's probably what you're trying to hint at. Like Jim Sterling's videos about Unity store asset flips. Like, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, but people who do that like to take the easy way out and forget those guys. Yeah, exactly, right.
And no one plays those games. So it's like they almost don't exist. But, you know, without like Game Maker, we wouldn't have games like Celeste. So, because those guys basically came up through Game Maker forums and stuff like that, and they moved on to Unity. So, no, I don't think so. I think more people are able to make games now, which means we have more chance of having more creative games. Like George was just saying, we have these, like, filler studios now that build stuff because they have access to Unity and access to Unreal and through accessibility options.
This reminds me of that question from last week. Talking about making games for greater demographics, for a lower common denominator. And I mean, you have probably heard me go in and out of this mentality during the course of this podcast. Like, the problem and the solution is that you got to look at the bigger picture. I agree that there is a lot of stagnation among certain scenes of certain genres, like low effort Unity games being a big one, and AAA games turning into sandbox collectathon mushes being like a smaller example.
If this episode has taught you anything.
And in either case, though, the problem is a problem of biases. Like, it's where are you looking? Because the industry is bigger than ever, which means there's more games coming out than ever. There's more people making games coming out than ever. It's also more diverse than ever. You have new genres propping up in VR games that just would not have happened 5 years ago because the technology wasn't around. You have a niche of mobile cell phone games sustaining themselves alongside a niche of like casualized hardcore AAA games alongside a niche of legitimately like hardcore AA games that are filling up that cement nicely. The problem is just if you like narrow in on, because of the scope of the size of the industry these days, if you narrow in to any particular genre, you're gonna see a lot of copycatting going on because the whole industry in general is way bigger than it's ever been before. I think that's the problem we're dealing with.
It's more accessible for making things, but because the way we design games doesn't affect how the game turns out, like there are hundreds of tutorials out there where people follow templates of like shoot 'em ups and stuff like that, but if you dig deeper into the people who are really getting into it, they always want to make original stuff.
And the stuff will not look like the copycats at all. Like, if you tell normies that Pillars of Eternity is a Unity game, they'll be like, whoa, really? It doesn't feel like a Unity game. And that's because diligence and professionalism and 30-year industry veterans working on something that had millions of dollars of funding from a good publisher.
For like a very quick example of this is, you know, Rami Ismaili, the head of Lambia, has just released a project called Meditations, which is a huge all-encompassing project where 365 different video games will be released on each day of this year. Yes, they're short and they are made very quickly and they have limitations to them.
Yeah.
But all of the people involved in that project can only be a part of that project because they have accessibility to Game Maker and Unity and stuff like that. Like, that's the only way projects like that exist. So, yeah. I feel like we live in a pretty damn good era if you want to make video games.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Yeah.
we've made it.
We've made it.
This is it. This
This is the end of the outline.
as good as the podcast is ever gonna get.
It's all stagnating from here. I don't want to say downhill because then people might leave, but maybe people will just stay the same.
Yeah. I mean, this is 2019.
Year of the bidet.
Fine.
We raised the bar. I got a PS4. I think now it's time to cruise on it. You know.
I feel like we're heading into like a good time. Like, I feel like video games are kind of better than ever, just where you look. I mean, 2018 had like the best January ever. We had Dragon Ball Z Fighters and Monster Hunter, but we had Celeste and other stuff on top of that.
But how long did you play Dragon Ball Z Fighters?
I played that for a good 50 plus hours.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I played that game a lot with friends. It was just one of those games that I only played it with friends eventually.
Yeah.
Like Smash.
I mean, I'm looking forward
Like
to
Smash.
more governments figuring out more loot box regulations. Other than that, well, I'm also looking forward to a couple games I am looking forward to, like Three Kingdoms and RE2. But other than
What did you
that,
say? Kingdom Hearts? Me too.
Sure. I was.
You said Three Kingdoms.
three, yeah.
I'm assuming you meant Kingdom Hearts 3.
Let's leave it at that. Other than that, this year's gonna suck.
Yeah. Well, my game of the year is going to be in 10 days. So
Yeah, it's called Resident Evil 2.
that's crazy that they come on the same day.
So generous that they let you play the real game more than once. Man, I just can't believe how gracious they're being. What?
Well,
They're really taking a hit for us, aren't they?
well, at least you guys can play it.
Oh,
Fucking millionaire Americans.
You're probably gonna be so busy. You're probably gonna be.
No way, dude. No way. I've got like a well. I don't know whether this is even boring to everyone, but no, I have to wait for my visa to change before I can even do what I'm going to be going to do.
Ooh, you're gonna be in limbo. I love it. Welcome to limbo. Me and
So
you
I'm
will
gonna
be in limbo.
Well, I'm not going to be in limbo, but I'm going to be waiting. So I do have, and I wanted to talk about it on the show today, but I haven't played it yet. I got a code for Tales of Vesperia, the definitive edition, the remaster they did for the PlayStation 4.
I love how, like...
Let's get into that bullshit next week.
In the pantheon of like shitty internet video game reviewers, like it's always the Liam who's into the super weeb stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't really
Oh my
play
God,
these games.
You always keep telling me
Matt-
you actually played a Ys game. You actually did it.
Matt is literally about to get... Matt is not even literally about to play a Kingdom Hearts game. He's so fucking excited. He bought a PlayStation 4. You can't call me a fucking weeb when Matt bought a PlayStation 4
Listen.
for Kingdom Hearts.
but
Matt takes the goddamn crown.
no, he doesn't.
Hey, I'm not in the parking lot swinging umbrellas around saying I'm Riku. All right, I'm not.
You're also not in glorious Nippon itself.
Okay, I just love
Goofy. I just love Goofy, man.
I love Goofy, too.
I just love kind-hearted games. Light against the darkness.
Heartless.
Okay, blackness is evil. Darkness is
I
evil.
just want to bring Kyrie back to the light.
Black, it also means, other than black people, it also means darkness, dirty, you know? And I want to defeat the darkness inside of me.
Jesus Christ.
You never looked at Webster? I don't know if they changed it yet. Whiteness means pure.